Wow! Oh! Ah! Ow! Oh! Ow! Oh! Ow! Excuse me. Excuse me.
Now, the other elephant in the room, folks, is the Neo DLC, which I was supposed to play and try to complete yesterday, but I was sick to my stomach and couldn't do it. Listen. The truth of the matter is this. Number one, I didn't really like the DLC. I thought that it was very uninspired. They didn't really add much new at all. And it really felt like it was kind of just a dialed-in DLC, you know what I mean? Like, phoned in. They didn't really put a lot of effort into it. Only 2 new enemy types. I mean, come on, really? And there's 1 new weapon I didn't even bother trying. It's not that good. It wasn't that good. I didn't like it that much to begin with. I've also been away from it for over a week, and the only thing left in that DLC is to finish the boss that I've already been fighting and 1 more boss, and that's it. So you're talking... Even if I were to finish the DLC, it wouldn't even be enough, really, to maybe even fill a stream, depending on how tough that final boss is. So that being said, I don't know if I'm going to go back to it. It depends. Maybe one day, back in February, YouTube ad revenue plummeted. When that happened, I contacted my longtime partner network, Machinima, and said, can you get me an answer on what's going on with this? Because I need to know, because I can't pay my bills. And if I can't pay my bills, I'm going to go out of business. So this is a serious concern. And Machinima basically beat around the bush with me for 2 weeks to the point where they finally disrespected me and were talking down to me. And I realized at that point that it was time for us to part ways because I'm not going to deal with any MCN that's going to basically be passive-aggressive and insult me and treat me like a kid and basically tell me how to run my business. So enough was enough. And I told them, if you're going to keep acting like this to me, I don't want to be a part of you anymore. And so they released all my channels from their partnerships. So I was faced with a dilemma. I needed to get into another partnership right away, okay? Now at first, I already had another partner network lined up that I wanted to partner with. This was a partner network that I had been talking with for 2 years. 2 years, alright? And it was someone who I knew who had a business relationship already in the past, and the guy knew me, knew my content, liked everything about me, and was basically ready to put me into a managed partnership, give me a pretty good revenue share cut, and he was going to be my manager too, so I'd have a go-to guy to go to for issues and stuff. All this was going to happen, okay? And all this was looking good. But sadly, something bad happened. Alright, and here's what happened, and this is the truth, and no one knows this. I didn't have his number, okay? I didn't have his phone number. What I have is I had his information on Twitter, and that was it. Like, I didn't have his personal... I wish I had his Skype. I really wish I had his Skype, but I didn't have that, okay? So the only method that I could contact this guy was via Twitter, but obviously being that my channels were going to be unpartnered right away, at least DsPgaming was going to be unpartnered from Machinima right away and not be making any money, I needed to find a quick solution right away, okay? Alright. So, I contacted this guy on Twitter, both via PM, but I didn't know if he uses Twitter frequently, so I also publicly messaged him and said, hey man, FYI, I need to talk to you right away.
Well, as you guys know, I have stalkers. I have mentally ill, fucked up in the head stalkers.
Who literally follow my every waking moment and every piece of information on the internet, my social media, anything that I post in the comments of a video, anything that I post on my forums. They literally jump on it and find an opportunity to attack me. So what they did is they saw this one single tweet to this guy, they researched, they found out that he works for this certain network on YouTube, and they spammed the fuck out of the partner network with negative stuff. They were saying, Phil's a fucking racist, Phil jerked off on stream, Phil is a piece of shit, if he joins your network, we're gonna talk shit about your network, how could you even consider recruiting this guy, you guys are assholes, how dare you do this? So basically, they fucked me. They went on fucking social media and attacked this company. Now, the thing is, this company wasn't a giant company. This company is a relatively small partnership network that was looking to actually... They had been trying to recruit me for 2 years. They wanted me to leave Machinima and come with them, but the thing is, they weren't going to pay me as much money as Machinima. So, obviously, it made sense for me to stick with Machinima for the length that I did. So, the problem is, this company is small. And being a small company, if they were smeared with negative press, hundreds of people spamming their social media, fuck this company because they're getting DSP and, you guys are a piece of shit and all that, and basically making them look bad, alright? They basically couldn't recruit me. They had a meeting. There's a small group of people. It's not like this is a company with thousands of employees and all of this, right? So they all had an internal meeting about me. They said it was an hour-long internal meeting just about recruiting me. At the end of the meeting, they were like, we like Phil. We like his content. We know his content will bring in views and bring us money, but we're a small company, and we can't be at risk of having Phil being with our company, and then we're getting all this negative attention from his haters. And that was even the thing. The guy apologized to me up and down and was like, dude, I can't believe it because I like you and we all like you here, but the amount of assholes who follow you over the internet screwed you over. It's literally the only reason we can't recruit you and give you the managed partnership and everything you want is because of them. Because we got this giant negative backlash because they saw one tweet that you sent me, they figured that I was going to go with you, and they spammed the living shit, okay? Spammed the living shit out of it. This company basically said we can't have negative press. We cannot have negative press. Okay? We can't, sorry, we want you in our network, we know it would help us financially, but we may not be able to recruit other people in the future if we have these hundreds of people attacking us daily for being assholes. So that's what happened at first, okay? So then in the meantime, when he told me, well, sorry, we can't recruit you right now, and by the way, he did say that in the future maybe, but I don't know, at this point, let's face it, we know that these people that stalk me are never gonna stop, never. So I don't think that I would ever be able to go with like a smaller company. I have to go with a company where that kind of shit doesn't affect them, right? So that's why I was looking at a few other companies, and there was a couple other companies that were considering recruiting me as well. But then they also, one other company turned me down for the same reasons, basically. They said, man, you know, we just looked at your social media, got blown up with negative people when you tried to go with this other company, so we can't recruit you either. We're in the same situation, all right? So finally, what ended up happening is I applied with Curse. Now, Curse is giant. For those who don't know, Curse is actually owned by Twitch, and Twitch is owned by Amazon. They're a giant company. They've recruited thousands of gamers on YouTube. Ads are running on people's videos from Curse. It's a giant network. So Curse doesn't give a shit. Does not give two diddly dicks that people are going to spam their social media saying negative things about me. They don't care. They're immune to that stuff because they're big enough to be immune to it, all right? They're not worried that they can't get more recruits because I'm with them. Okay. So, folks, that being said, I signed up with Curse, and that worked out. I signed up with Curse, and first DSP Gaming went to Curse, and then eventually KO Gaming went to Curse. And I'll be honest, immediately I started making more money than I was with Machinima. Like, daily I was making more money than with Machinima. So if you really want my honest opinion, I think that Curse has better advertisement contracts with certain advertisers, that people are running ads on Curse network videos, and those are more profitable than those that are with Machinima. So, as I signed with Curse, and this was probably, I'm not even lying, probably 2 days after I signed with Curse, I received an email. Now, the email was from a company I had never heard before. I never heard of them. I didn't know who they were. I'll tell you the name now. The name of the company was Pultavi. P-U-L-T-A-V-I. And I know everyone's going to fervently go on the internet and start searching for Pultavi right now. I did at the time because I'd never heard of them. So this guy wrote me and he says, Phil, I watch your vlogs and I actually just saw that you had joined with this Curse company. What are they offering you? And would you consider going with another network if they were to give you better terms or whatever, okay? Now, I was incredibly skeptical, okay? In fact, keep in mind, this started happening when I partnered with Curse, which was early March. No, I take that back. That was February. No, I think it was like the first week of March, okay? So, I talked with this company for 2 months before I decided to even take a chance with them, all right? They say, okay, here's what we'll offer you. We're going to offer you a managed partnership. We're going to offer you a slightly higher revenue share than what Curse offers. And, now, by the way, I hadn't asked for this or anything. None of this was anything that I have ever asked for. I was offered that what they were going to do out of their own, side, they wanted to do that, right? Was they were going to search the internet for when people made malicious, this is how you don't play videos. Not normal ones. It was a normal video, and it's someone just being funny or whatever. But if you're looking at a video that's super malicious or whatever, they were going to search the internet for those videos. They weren't going to take them down, but they explained to me that apparently if someone's using my videos without my legal permission, that basically I cannot copyright strike that video down, but I own the ad revenue on that video. Now, I don't know if I agree or disagree with that. I think that that's a screwed up thing. But what they were offering me, which I never said that authorized them to do, but they were offering, they were going to mass claim people who were stealing my content and making videos with it and basically take ad revenue from it. So let's say, for example, someone makes a viral video that's totally negative about me. We'd both make money on it, okay?
Now, keep in mind, I didn't suggest that. I didn't propose it.
And I wasn't going to go along with it, but this is what they wanted to do up front, okay? And I was like, I don't even know how that works legally, you know what I mean? How could that work? I don't know legally if there's a grounds to do this or not. So that was just something that they offered, but I don't obviously know that that's the deal, that would have gone through or whatever, okay? This is what they wanted to do. This is what they offered me. So I said, well, I wasn't going to even be serious with them yet. What I wanted to do was do research. And I looked on the internet, and I found zero information at that time about this company, Pultavi. I had no idea who they were. I had never heard of them, and I couldn't even find any information about this company existing. So, obviously, I'm skeptical when I haven't heard anything from a company at all. I mean, obviously, who are they, right? So I actually went back to them and said, listen, what you're saying you're going to give me sounds great. I mean, it sounds like you're basically giving me every possible thing that I want, but I don't know anything about you and I don't see anything on the internet. Can you give me some information about who you are or whatever? Because I never heard of you. And they said, we're an upstart company. We're literally just getting our feet into the water here of YouTube. We're working with 2 or 3 other YouTubers like you who recently left their networks to recruit them. And we want to see if we can get these people to start building our network. Okay? That sounds okay. But at the same time, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Can you believe these people, right? So, after talking with them for about a week or 2 weeks, and now we're talking around mid-March or so, maybe heading into later March, I'm with Curse, and I'm liking the money I'm making with Curse, because I'm seeing, oh, this money's pretty good, but also I'm making the Twitch money because of the changes I had made. Keep in mind, at that point, I was doing Zelda Breath of the Wild and all that. The problem was with Curse, I was getting all my videos claimed, okay? All of my videos were being claimed. And it was like every Nintendo video, every copyrighted video, or every video that had copyrighted music, like licensed music in it, like Grand Theft Auto. Every day I was opening up my phone and getting 20, 30, 40, 50 emails about videos being claimed. And it was driving me nuts. I was like, I like the money I'm making with Curse, but this is crazy that my videos are getting muted, my videos are getting blocked. This is absolutely terrible that this is the situation. I can't believe that this is the case, okay? So, I was so frustrated. I was like, maybe I should at least entertain this company, even though I've never heard of them before. Maybe I should entertain it. Let's see if they're willing to play ball, and let's see if they're willing to be serious. So I went back, just on a whim, and I said, okay, let's talk, but in order for us to start talking, what you basically have to do is write up a contract, because us talking back and forth won't do anything. You have to show me that you're serious about partnering my channels, and by the way, I would only partner DSP Gaming with you if you would also partner KO Gaming under a managed partnership, because now you're talking 2 managed partnerships and more ad revenue. Those are enough positives for me to leave Curse and come with you, okay? So, they said, okay, we'll write you up a contract, and I waited about a week, and I didn't get a contract, and I emailed them back, and I'm like, by the way, this is all email communication so far, all email, purely email, okay? And I go back to them and I say, I didn't get a contract from you, what's going on, what's taking so long? Oh, don't worry about it, we're working on it, we're gonna get you a contract, don't worry about it. Okay, fine. I wait, another few days go by, still nothing. So these people are basically, they're trying to recruit me, but then when I just start to get serious about it, all of a sudden they like stop responding. So I'm thinking at this point, maybe it was fake, or maybe it was just they weren't serious about it, or maybe they're just not professional, I don't know. Finally, one night, in the middle of the night, okay, I finally get the contract. Now, this was still, I believe it was either, at this point, late March or early April. The very first contract I got was for well, let me put it this way. You would think it was for DSP Gaming, but I opened the contract up, all right? And it looks, at first glance, it looks like, oh, it's similar to the other contracts I've signed with companies like Curse or Machinima. But then I start to read it, and I realize, this is like the most bootleg contract I've ever read in my life. There were spelling errors, there were major grammatical errors. The contract, I'm not exaggerating here, it didn't even reference my YouTube channel. It didn't even reference what the contract was for. It did say ad revenue, and it did say managed partnership, but it didn't say in the contract what channel. So I'm reading it, and I'm like, what? Like, what is this? This is so ridiculous. This is so unprofessional, right? Like, and I had to go back to them, and I said, listen, you know, if you want me to take this seriously, you gotta fix this contract. Because I've seen these contracts before. With Machinima, I've seen multiple ones, and I just signed one with Curse. I know what's supposed to be in it, right? So I went back to them, and I said, this is such a mess. You have to fix this wording. You have to fix this word, which is misspelled. You have to put, obviously, the name of my channel on the contract. It was ridiculous, so I pushed back to them with this information. I said, okay, we'll fix it. We'll get back to you. Like, a week passes, and they still didn't do it. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? You know, like, is this a serious company or not? So finally, after a week, I have to nudge them again. I sent them another email. I even told them up front, I said, you know what, right now, honestly, one of the major things that's kind of holding me back from wanting to partner with you is because you don't respond in a timely manner at all. I send you an email on an urgent matter, fix the contract, and you take a week and you don't even do it, you know? Like, this is terrible. This is just like a horrible business practice. You're not seeming very professional. So then they apologized up and down. They said, oh, if you talk with us on Skype, we're much more responsive. We really don't use emails that much. But on Skype, you could talk to the person who was the person I'd been talking, who supposedly was a recruiter for Poltavi. Or this person is like the head, the CEO or whatever, okay? So this guy comes out, you can talk directly to him if you want. So, FYI, this contract was hilarious. We went back and forth basically like 4 times, no lie. It took like another 2 weeks to finally get this contract for DSP Gaming to have the correct terms, to promise the managed partnership, to promise all the right things that they had promised me that they were going to give me, okay? And finally, at the end, all they put on the contract, it said, for DSP Gaming. That's all it said. They never even put the YouTube channel web address into the contract. Therefore, that contract was never legally binding. The contract was never linked to the DSP Gaming channel at all. They never had any kind of authority to do anything with DSP Gaming, all right? So, I said, this is hilarious, but finally they had given me a contract. I didn't sign it. I did not sign the contract. I said, okay, that's great, but you also promised me that you're going to do this for KO Gaming. So before I'm willing to even consider signing any contract or whatever, now you've got to do a contract for KO Gaming. So then, within a couple days, they send me a contract for KO Gaming, and the contract's wrong again. The contract does say KO Gaming, but they've got the terms on there for DSP Gaming, for which they were going to pay me a little more, so the terms were wrong. So again, I had to go back to them, and I'm like, guys, you screwed up again. The contract is wrong. It's not what you told me it was going to be. This is not going to fly. So again, they had to fix it, and we went back and forth again. It's so ridiculous, right? Going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, it was about, I would say, because I'm trying to think, this was last week when all the fiasco happened with me falling out with them and all that. So it was the week before that. It was actually the week before. So it would have been the last week of April / first week of May, somewhere along those lines, all right? Where finally they had provided me with 2 contracts that actually had the right information on them. It finally was in English, not broken English or with misspellings or whatever, any of this, okay? None of that. Finally, the contracts kind of looked similar to other contracts that I've done with other people. But, get this. Get this. They didn't have my physical address. They never asked for it. They didn't ask for my PayPal information so that they could pay me. They didn't ask for my tax ID. None of that. None of it. Then all that you're supposed to do, at least in the contract or around the same time. I know this, again, because I've partnered with other networks. So I talked to them about that repeatedly. I'm like, do you want my address? Do you want this info? Do you want that? And they never basically responded and said, yes, give it to us, or here's a form to fill out, or whatever. Never. What they did say, okay, what they did say is, go to our website, pultavi.com, and through that website, much like you've done with Curse and other companies, you can register your YouTube channels. And once the contracts are signed and approved and through, they'll link to that dashboard, and then from there, you'll be able to submit all your information. Now, I'm thinking, that's not how it worked with every other company I partner with, so this seems kind of fishy, right? But for the sake of argument, let's see what happens. So, after waiting a ton of time, right? So now we've been working with them for 2 months on trying to get contracts negotiated to the point where they make sense or whatever. I had 2 contracts, one for KO Gaming, one for DSP Gaming, promising a managed partnership on each. By the way, they still were not responding in a very timely manner. Even when I was talking to them on Skype, which I ended up making a whole new account for and being sure that I wasn't on the IP where I could be doxxed or not doxxed, DDoS attacked or whatever when I talked to them. Basically, I had to do all this rigmarole to even contact them and get information. They still weren't responding in a timely manner. It was taking a while for them to respond to things that I was asking them and stuff, okay? By the way, at this point, still, no information about Pultavi on the internet at all. It was funny, there was nothing, you couldn't find out if they were associated with any other network or whatever. And through this entire process, not once did anyone who I spoke with at Pultavi mention that Pultavi is a subsidiary of another company. Never. So there was no way to know that they were associated with any other company, okay? Okay. Fair enough. So finally, it was the last week of April, first week of May. I said, here's what I'm going to do.
I'm going to give it a shot.
Alright? Because right now I know what I'm making with Curse. And before I did anything, I specifically talked with Curse, and I explained the entire situation to them from start to finish. And I said, hey guys, listen, I like being with you. I'm making decent money with you. It just sucks that all my videos are ending up getting content ID matched and claimed. Would it be possible if I go with this other company? Alright? If I go with them, and then something falls through, or they're full of it, and they're just making it up, because I can't find any information on the internet about these guys at all. If it ends up being a scam, if it ends up being fake or whatever, or they don't live up to their promises, could I come back to you? And Curse actually came right back and said, yes, we actually, for the past 2 months, have enjoyed you being with us. We've made decent money. You're making decent money. Everything's been a good relationship. Therefore, we would love to have you back, but just understand, we're not going to have you come back and then leave and come back and then leave and then come back and then leave. You know, if you come back, we would hope that this would be the time that you would come back and kind of stick with us, all right? I said, fair enough. That makes sense. I agree with you. I wouldn't want you to have to constantly be doing this work of partnering and unpartnering or whatever. Sounds good to me. Let's see what happens with this company, Pultavi. And then I formally requested that my YouTube channels, DSP Gaming and KO Gaming, be unlinked from Curse as of May 1st. Okay? Alright. So there you go. So May 1st comes, and, you know, at this point now, by the way, at this point, I did sign the contracts. Signed the contracts, I say, because the contracts weren't legal. The contracts I signed with Pultavi didn't actually have the web addresses of my YouTube channels on them. Therefore, they had never had any legal claim to any of the ad revenue on my channels. But in the contracts were bunk, basically. But I was curious, were they serious about getting me the managed partnership? Because I would consider working with a company that's a new company and a little bit unprofessional if it means I could get back into the managed partnership, okay? So, I signed the contracts, which, by the way, the contracts were only for 30 days. They're 30-day renewing contracts. Every 30 days, you can, at any time, you could request to be released from the contract, and then the other side has 30 days to release you, or usually, when this happens, a company will just release you immediately, okay? So there you go. That's what happened. Now, Curse unlinked both of my YouTube channels on May 1st, okay? Great, and what would have happened if everything had gone according to plan and there were no issues or whatever, alright, is the channels would have been unlinked, I would have linked the channels to this Poltavi network, and then I would have had to mass monetize my videos in a bulk move, so get them all, monetized or whatever, and then they would have started making the ad revenue, and then supposedly behind the scenes I was supposed to register for their website and give them all the tax information, and then they were supposed to immediately push me into the managed partnership, okay, and then everything would be good. Here's what happened, okay? I went to do this, Curse unlinked my channels, and then I went to have Poltavi link them, and by the way, I told them to do KO Gaming first, and here's why,
I'm not so stupid, alright? I'm not so stupid
as to think that I would just give them both of my channels, permission right away. I knew that if I was going to do this, I was going to give them KO Gaming first, have them make KO Gaming the managed partnership first, and then if they did it, then I would do DSP Gaming, because DSP Gaming is my main income on YouTube. KO Gaming, I make like nothing. I make a few bucks a month, so who cares if that channel gets screwed up or whatever for a little bit? I don't care. But DSP Gaming, I need to make money on, okay? So my original intention was never to actually link both channels right away. It was to link KO Gaming first, see if they fulfilled their promise, and then link DSP Gaming. Alright? That was my intention. Unfortunately, what happened was when I unlinked my channels from Curse on May 1st, YouTube started a new system. And the new system is you now have to have a personal AdSense account approved and linked to your YouTube channels in order for them to then be approved for monetization so that you can put ads on your videos. And then once you're approved for monetization, then you can link to a new network. Now, when I went with Curse back in March, this system didn't exist. This is brand new. YouTube just instituted this in the past few weeks. Therefore, no one even knew that this existed. Like, no one had any idea that unlinking my channels from Curse was going to require me then to get a AdSense account linked to each channel so that I could then link it to Poltavi. No one knew that. Poltavi didn't know, I didn't know, Curse didn't know, no one knew about this new process. I was like basically the first person to be affected by this negatively, okay? So here's what I did. I said, okay, I'm going to make a personal AdSense account, I'm going to link it to both channels, but I fucked up, and when I fucked up, it's not that I made a mistake, I trusted YouTube's system to work properly, okay? Here's what happened. So, that was Monday, I think Monday morning or whatever. I think, uh-oh. Hold on one second, everybody. I'll be right back. I'm getting an important phone call. Folks, I've got a family emergency. It came out of nowhere, and I have to deal with it now. So guess what? Sadly, the podcast has to end. I can't finish my story right now. But when I am available to finish it, which maybe later today I will, but right now, sadly, I don't even have time to upload. I have to actually leave. So I will be going out, and I will be back hopefully later today, and everything will be fine. But I have no idea right now. I'm kind of in the dark. So I have to go take care of some personal stuff, alright? It happens, it sucks, but I'll be back. I'll let everyone know what's going on later, but right now, I have to leave, so... Sorry, everyone, that's the end of the podcast. I know, right in the middle of the fucking story, too. I didn't even get to finish it, but... I'm not uploading these videos yet, either. I gotta go take care of this. I'll be back. I get a phone call. I'm like, oh boy. And it's from Leanna's job, and they're like, we need you to come in right now. We got a problem, call us back, because the thing is, he called, I tried to answer, and I couldn't answer, as you saw on stream, I was going to answer the phone, I tried, and it didn't even work, like, I missed the call, so then I had to call them back, and, basically they said, your girlfriend here is, not doing too good, she had some kind of an anxiety attack, and she needs, she needs something, and basically paramedics had showed up, okay? Now, Leanna has a history of doing this, having these attacks, it's not her fault or whatever, she just had it in her life, she's had a bunch of them, and she just happened to have a really bad one at work today. It's happened before, and if it's at home, usually there's no problem. We can get her to calm down or whatever. But at this time, it happened in the middle of a work day. She was really stressed out, apparently. And boom, it hit her. And basically, it was so bad that no one could get her to calm down, and they had to call the paramedics. So I was like, okay, what should I do here? I don't have a car, so if I'm going to come to the mall, I need to get a taxi or whatever. Because she has the car. She had it driven to her job, right? And I needed to get a taxi to her job so that I could, obviously be there and help her out. So... I called her cell phone to see what was going on, and she answered, which I didn't expect she would answer. I was like, okay. So I called the cell phone, and she's like, I'm here with the paramedics. They're going to take me to the hospital because it's so bad. And I said, all right, well, here's what you do. Leave the keys with your manager, because what I'll do is I'll take a taxi to there. I'll get the keys. I'll drive from your job to the hospital, and I'll meet you at the hospital. Okay? Because we leave the car, now we can't get anywhere, right? If I just take a taxi to the hospital, it wouldn't make sense. Let's do it in the right order, okay? So she says, okay. So I hang up, I call back her manager, I let her know I'm on the way, I'm calling a taxi. So I call a taxi, taxi's on the way to the house or whatever. Then as the taxi was about to arrive, I realized, oh crap, I don't know where Leanna parked the car. So I had to call her back and find out where she had parked the car. But I didn't even call, I texted her, got a text, alright? And then, so then, I was like, okay, so I waited for the taxi. Taxi shows up. I explained to the guy who, by the way, yes, the stereotype persists. The guy could barely speak English. Guy shows up, okay. He's gonna drive me to the mall, to you know, the job at the mall. And, so we get there. It takes about only like 15 minutes. But then, get this. So I don't have cash on me. All right? I don't have any cash on me at all. And I'm in a hurry because I know that Leanna is en route, if not at the hospital already, and I need to get this car and get over there. So I hand him the credit card. He goes to swipe it. Oh, I don't know what's going on. And this guy, first of all, this cab, okay, he has a meter, so a standard meter with a card swipe. Then he has a pad, like a little pad, I don't know, what do you call it, tablet, a little tablet, LG tablet, that's like suspended in front of him on some stand or some complex thing, right? It's just suspended there. And he's fucking with that, trying to get it to work. In the meantime, I've got a display in front of me that says, you know, Seattle Taxi or whatever, with information. So I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna swipe. He goes, no, do not swipe. It's not ready yet. It's not ready. Do not swipe. Okay, not gonna swipe. So he's messing with it. Oh, God. He's mumbling in another language that I don't understand. He's going crazy. I said, dude, I'm in a hurry. I have to go. I can't be here all day. All right. So he's messing with it. Still not working. Unplugs the tablet. Replugs the tablet. Unplugs the tablet. Replugs the tablet. Tries it again. Doesn't work. Okay. Powers down the tablet. Powers up the tablet. Tries it again. Doesn't work. I'm like, is this like a cruel joke that something serious is going on? I need to be somewhere and the fucking thing, you know what I mean? And I was, at this point, I was about to get out of the car. And I was like, I will go to an ATM and give you money, but you have to wait. I'm going to go to the ATM and come right back. He goes, no, I will fix. And he messes around for another like 5 minutes and finally he gets it to go. So I'm not even kidding you. The wait to pay for my taxi was longer than the taxi ride. And good thing he didn't charge me for it, or I probably would have ripped his fucking head off. But that was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. Stupid taxi ride, really. Alright. So, I get out of the car, I go to the job, get the keys, okay. Now I gotta find the car, which was somewhere in a parking garage. I'm wandering around a parking garage. I finally find it after like 5 minutes of wandering around. Get in the car, go to the hospital. And what a rigmarole this is, okay? So I go to the hospital, and I walk in to the front main area, because I don't know where to go. I don't know if they brought her to emergency. I don't know if she's gonna be admitted to the hospital. I don't know what's going on, how serious this whole situation is. I have no idea, okay? So I walk into the hospital, there's an information desk. It's completely empty, there's no one sitting there. You can tell there's 4 chairs, no one there. I guess because it's Sunday, no one works at this hospital or whatever. So I'm looking around, I'm pacing back and forth. What do I do? Who do I talk to? Finally, I find a phone. It says, oh, lift this phone for information. Okay, I pick up the phone. Hello, is this who is this? Can you help me? You know, my girlfriend, I think she's in the hospital somewhere. And they're like, oh, okay, what's her name? I give her the name. Like, okay, she's still over in emergency, so go this way and go to emergency. Okay, would have been nice if, you know, there was a fucking human working instead of me having to find a random phone that was hidden in this hallway. So, okay. I go through this lobby, I go to the emergency. So, again, I walk to emergency, now there's a line, and I'm like, well, these are people who are hurt, what do I do? So I get in line, but I'm looking around. I wait in line for like 5 minutes, and I realize to my left, way over here, on a tiny little sign, not even like apparent, little sign, it says, visitor check-in. I'm like, wow, if only there was a big fucking sign so everyone would know where to go when they walk into this hospital instead of this tiny rinky-dink sign you can't even see from the front door. So if I get out of the line I'm in, I go over there, talk to a security guy, you know, makes a copy of my license, checks me in. He says, okay, she's down there. She's in room 28. I said, so what's the deal? He says, well, it says here, you know, she had another anxiety attack. Well, not another, because they don't know that she's had them in the past. She says she had an anxiety attack. Apparently, she's drugged, and she's in this room awaiting a doctor to kind of either come in or whatever. I guess a doctor coming in to check her out. Or, no, actually, I take that back. He said, no, he did say that. He had told me there was a doctor that was checking her out or something like that. And I was like, okay. So, I walk through, I go all the way to the back of the emergency area where they've got her in a room, and I go in, and she's conscious, but she's kind of loopy. You can tell they drugged her or something, because she wasn't, no panic or nothing, you know, no anxiety or nothing. She was just like, oh, like loopy like this, right? So, I, you know, obviously say you're okay, you didn't fall, you didn't hit your head or nothing, right? No, just, you know, it happens, it sucks, because it happens every once in a while, and now this is the worst one she's ever had, so maybe that she has to go see, you know, her doctor and try to get some kind of thing to take care of it, because the bottom line is with anxiety attacks, they suck. The reason they suck is there's really no way to cure them, okay? There's things you can do, like, for example, you could try a certain kind of breathing, or if there's someone who's, like, constantly has mental issues and is having these problems, they could go on an antidepressant, but that's not the situation here. The situation is every once in a while she just gets one, and now it's like a tizzy, you gotta try to calm her down, right? Now in this case, they drugged her. So, she got drugged, she was woozy or whatever. So I sat there with her, and I'm not even kidding, we sitting there waiting. I said, well, what are we waiting for? And she says, I guess they told me that there's going to be a counselor that's going to be coming in and talking to me about this and what happened and or whatever to make sure I'm all right. And then, you know, we can't get any further help or diagnosis until this counselor comes in. Okay. All right. So we're sitting there, and I look down, and on her lap, she's on a hospital gurney or whatever, sitting there in the room. On her lap is a brochure. I said, "What's this?" I pick it up. Finance, how to pay. Finance. I'm like,
You're in the emergency room. They already gave you a way to pay the bill?
and I'm looking at it like, imagine if you were here and you had your arm chopped off and your arm is fucking splurting blood. Before they start suturing it, do they hand you the payment brochure first just to be sure you could fucking pay? I couldn't believe it. I was like, if that was me and I was sitting in an emergency room, I'd be fucking offended that they would hand me this up front like that. Seriously, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here with this. I'm insulted that you hand me a payment fucking plan already. I mean, this is ridiculous. I couldn't believe it, okay? I couldn't believe it. So, we wait there. How long? Now, let's see. How long did we wait? Let's see if people can take a guess. How long did we wait? Did we wait 10 minutes? No. Did we wait 20 minutes? No. Did we wait 30 minutes? No. Did we wait 40 minutes? No. Did we wait 50 minutes? No. Did we wait an hour? No. An hour goes by. No one's come in. No nurse. No counselor. Nothing. We're just sitting there doing nothing. And we're like, well, what is this? Are we even aware of what's going on here? And, at this point, she was starting to get hungry because now it's like around the time that we would normally eat or whatever. And we're like, God, this is no good. Now we're going to be starving or whatever. We have to figure out what's going on. So I said, okay, let me leave and go find someone. So I leave the room and I walk down the hallway and there's like a desk at the end of this emergency room hallway. And I say to the girl there, excuse me, my girlfriend is over in room 28 and, she had a panic attack. They drugged her and we need to know what's going on. We're wondering, is there a counselor coming or whatever? Because we're in the dark. We're just standing here. We're not even sure what's going on. And the girl literally looks at me like this and says,
I don't know, and no one here knows anything.
I was like,
wow! What great help!
Right? But she says, so, go back to the room and press the call button, then a nurse will show up, and the nurse will be able to tell you what's going on. Okay. I couldn't believe it. I'm not making it up. She actually said that to me. No one here knows anything. Okay. This is great. I know you're loving this story. I'm loving this story. So then, I go back to the room. I tell Leanna, listen, you're going to have to buzz to find out what the hell's going on here. So she buzzes, and we wait. About 5 minutes. It wasn't too bad. Nurse comes in. Woman, she says, what's wrong? What's going on? And Leanna says, well, no, she's still groggy. So she barely talks. She's like, nothing. I just want to know what's happening here. Are we waiting for a counselor, a doctor, or whatever? And the woman looks at us with, like, a look of scorn, right? A look of scorn. She's like, you've only been here, like, an hour and a half, and we have other patients. And I'm like,
what kind of fucking place is this?
Like, you're going to talk down to a patient who's been waiting an hour and a half and no one's come in to tell her the status of what's going on? And she asks and you get angry? And I'm like, what the hell? So I said, listen. I said, we're both hungry. She needs food. She hasn't eaten today. So the woman says, okay, I'll go get you some food. So she leaves. She comes back with a turkey sandwich. It's like turkey on rye bread with a piece of lettuce and a piece of cheese and like a packet of mustard and a couple saltines and a apple juice and like the apple juice looked like it was like a yogurt cup. I've never even seen apple juice stored like that before. And a string cheese. Now, Leanna hates string cheese and Leanna wasn't super hungry for like a sandwich, so she ate some saltines. Good, she got something in her. And there was water there too. I gave her water. She didn't want the apple juice. So we gave her the apple juice or whatever. All right. So now we wait again. We're waiting. And waiting. So anyway, I forgot to tell you, before the nurse left, she said, the counselor is coming, you just have to wait. You have to wait because there's other people here. I'm like, wow, thanks. How long did we wait for the counselor? What do you think? Did we wait an hour and a half? Yeah, well, no, longer than that. We wait an hour and 45 minutes? No, okay, maybe we waited 2 hours? Yeah, no, longer than that. Almost 2.5 fucking hours we sat there, okay, waiting for a counselor to come into the room. The counselor was an elderly woman, you could tell she was probably in her 60s, white woman, comes in with 2 pieces of paper. Okay, she comes in. Hi, how you doing? Are you in pain? No, that's good. You're still having anxiety? No, that's good. Okay. They gave you some drugs, right? Yeah, okay, that's why you're calm, that's why you're woozy, it's because you're on the drugs. So here's 2 pieces of paper explaining what anxiety attacks are. Have you ever had an anxiety attack before? And I'm like, so they admitted her. Well, they didn't admit her. They bring her into the emergency room. They administered a drug, and no one even asked her when she was brought in anything at all. They had no basic information whatsoever about this thing. She'd been sitting there for 2.5 hours. She might have been having a life-crippling anxiety attack where she's gonna fucking, lose her mind and be mentally lose her shit. And she comes in and asks, did you ever have an anxiety attack before? She's like, yes. Are they usually like this? Well, I have them, but this is the worst one I've ever had. Oh. Well, do you have a doctor? Yeah. A primary care physician? Yeah.
Well, we recommend that you go see your doctor then. I'm like, oh my God, are you fucking for real?
Are you fucking for real? Okay. Then she says, so, there are different ways that we can help with with stuff like this. Primarily, what it is we recommend you don't take any drugs at all. You just wait it out, okay? Now, obviously, just waiting it out doesn't work in the situation that Leanna was in, to the point where they called the paramedics. The paramedics recommended drugging her, so this woman is obviously a fucking buffoon, okay? So then she said, so typically you should just wait it out, but, you know, there's other ways you could do. If it's something that happens all the time, then you could do antidepressants, and that's a long-term medication, but since it doesn't happen all the time with you, usually we just have this, what we call kind of an emergency pill, where if you ever have a bad attack, you could just pop the pill, almost like an EpiPen. It's like an emergency issue where if you have an allergic reaction, you pop yourself with that EpiPen and it solves the problem. So same thing here, you have a problem, pop the pill, right? And it'll cure the problem or whatever. But obviously she goes, but we don't recommend you do that all the time, because as you can see, you are tired and loopy, and you don't want to be that all the time, right? And I'm like, this is the most, like, stupid, what's the word I'm looking for? Patronizing woman I've ever heard in my life. She's given zero useful information whatsoever, and we waited 2.5 fucking hours for her, okay? She literally says, okay, well, I'm done, see you later, and she starts walking out the door. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What's gonna happen now? Are we still staying? Or are you going to get a doctor? What's going to happen here? And she says, I guess I'll go talk to the doctor, and then she leaves. American healthcare, ladies and gentlemen. What a great system we have, right?